Welcome. In front of me is an Honor 600 Pro, and today I'll show you how you can enable and set up your portable hotspot. So, to get started, you will want to swipe down from the top right side of your screen, to be specific, as that's where we get our toggles. If you do it from the left side, you actually get notifications. Anyway, in here you'll find a bunch of toggles, and if we swipe down on them, whoops, not on the phone, but on the toggles, there we go, you can see we have a bunch of them more that will show up. Obviously, we're looking for the hotspot one, which I believe should be added by default. Oh, there we go, it's basically the second toggle right here for me. So you should probably find it somewhere here, but if you don't, you can click right here, and then in the area where we have toggles, click on Add a Tile, and you will be able to find it somewhere in this list. Once you do, just click on the plus. This would get added. Click on the check mark, and you can see it's now added here. So this was just an example toggle. But once you have it visible, first time around, when you interact with this, I recommend holding it, and this will quickly take you to the settings. The reason for navigating into the settings is primarily this. It's the randomly generated password. Now, the password itself is kind of awful to type in, so I will just straight up remove it and then set up my own new password, which will need to have 8 characters in length. Now, that is at least. You can have more if you want to, and you can use letters, numbers, both. It doesn't really matter. For simplicity, I'm just using numbers. So that's one thing. Name of the device, it's going, or name device, this is actually the hotspot name rather than the device name, but the hotspot usually is named by the device, so in this case it's Honor 600 Pro. Now under more, we have some additional options, for instance the AP band, and we have two options. We have 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and other than this bad explanation, better compatibility or faster network speed, it's not really telling you much. So I'll go over this if you don't know what this is, because both of them could potentially have a use case scenario for you. So 2.4 is generally what I prefer to use for hotspot purposes, as hotspot is going to be for the most part limited by your mobile network, and therefore the 5 gigahertz is just kind of redundant in my opinion. I'm not running a server, I'm not playing a game off of this. I don't need the fastest, the lowest latencies kind of connections right here. I just need internet. And if it's a little bit slower, that's fine with me. And usually that is also, like I mentioned, it's slow because probably my mobile network in general is slow. And the 2.4 has the best compatibility. If you have any kind of device throughout basically the inception of wireless network, right? Then it was the 2.4. Any device labeled as just Wi-Fi only, as in Wi-Fi, supports this one. Any kind of Wi-Fi with additional numbers, letters to it, basically supports everything newer, depending on what the standard is, plus everything backwards compatible. So as an example, the 5 gigahertz in here is basically, would be, for instance, on a device labeled as Wi-Fi 6. Now, I know this is showing 5 gigahertz, but moronic kind of naming schemes right here from Wi-Fi Alliance just kind of gave this. So Wi-Fi 6 is actually 5 gigahertz. So if you have any device that is labeled as Wi-Fi 6, it supports the 5 gigahertz as well as the 2.4. And so on goes with the higher things, like for instance, Wi-Fi 6E. Again, absolute retardation right here. 6E actually is Wi-Fi 6 gigahertz. I know there could have been much easier, right? Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz could have been, oh, I don't know, Wi-Fi 5? But we don't live in a world where corporations think logically. So in any case, so any kind of Wi-Fi 6, 6E, 7, and whatever in the future will be, is always backwards compatible. But a, for instance, device that supports only Wi-Fi does not support Wi-Fi 6. Which in this case would be the 5 gigahertz. So something to note. Now that is one of the reasons why I prefer the 2.4, as it just makes it super easy to not need to know if like, oh, the device that I will be trying to connect to it, does it support it, does it not? Chances are it does, but if in case it doesn't, I don't need to worry about it. And the benefit of the 5 gigahertz is just kind of lost on me here, so I'm not really losing anything here. Now, there is, like I mentioned, a scenario where this would be a better option. And that scenario is if you live in a densely populated area. Before I go to explaining why, I do want to still mention this could potentially be a solution for you, but only if your device has the support for Wi-Fi 6, 6E, 7, and so on. In this case, you can use it. If it doesn't, you're not gonna get through the fact that it's a technology that was, made a little bit after what you have. So, like I said, it won't be able to utilize it. But if it can, this could help you out, as in densely populated area, 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, if there's a lot of those signals, they begin interfering with one another. And this would basically cause you problems as in disconnection from your through your Wi-Fi, not getting any kind of internet, and so on. So by changing it to 5 gigahertz, you potentially kind of resolve this problem, as 5 gigahertz isn't as prone to the same kind of problem. Now you can have the same amount of signals, right, on both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, but for the 5 gigahertz, this isn't a problem. Now, if you're wondering why this could potentially be happening, 2.4 gigahertz signals isn't just routers and phones that do hotspot like this one. It's actually a lot more other devices, like primarily smart home. So Internet of Things, this crap is littering the 2.4 frequency with basically every kind of smart bulb that connects through Wi-Fi to some bullshit application, like for instance any kind of Philips Hue. Yeah, that piece of shit is probably going to be using 2.4 frequency. It might not be using specifically Wi-Fi, but it's using the 2.4 gigahertz frequency. Therefore, it's kind of cluttering the frequency, interfering with other devices, making the connections harder to maintain. And this obviously goes to other things, like for instance smart cooktops or anything that is just called smart. If it's smart, it's shitty because it basically makes connections harder between other devices and shittifies your product. So something to keep in mind. But like I mentioned, this kind of interference usually happens in a densely populated area or around someone that just goes completely nuts with smart devices. Moving on, we have auto disable, so your hotspot will turn off automatically after 5 minutes of inactivity. I generally dislike this, so I'll be setting it up to something like 30 minutes, as this is a long enough period, and it needs to be long enough. This is using inactivity period is moronic here, as if, let's say, I turn on the hotspot right here, bring my phone, connect to this hotspot on my phone right here, and then I start browsing the web, as you should be doing, obviously, and I open up a long article on this phone, and I just, it's a single page. I just continuously scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, right? By default, it's set to, what was it, like 5 minutes? If it takes me more than 5 minutes to get through this single page of article, by the time I'm done and I want to go to the next page or another different page, whatever, my hotspot is already off. As long as I was on that website reading that one long article, the hotspot wasn't refreshing. It wasn't being used. It only gets used initially to load that website or to go to another pages of that website, right? But as long as you're on a website, once it loads it, that's it. It's now just kind of waiting. And it's loaded on your phone. You can just continuously read and read and read. But there's nothing more to load. Your phone has already preloaded everything on that page. So therefore, the 5 minute counter right here is relatively low. And that's why I recommend setting it up to a higher number to get rid of this kind of crappy problem that you might encounter. Now, hide personal hotspot, I don't recommend doing so. In this case, you would need to type in the password and the name of the hotspot manually in the Wi-Fi page by adding a custom one. And then we have Wi-Fi protocol and Bluetooth tethering. We're not going to touch upon this. This is all we need right here. So let's go back and then just simply close this, find the toggle, and simply tap on it. And now I can connect to this hotspot with other devices and use the network off of this phone. I do also want to get into a little bit more detail in the network portion right here. So for people that have a limited amount of data from their service provider, typically you will have something like, I don't know, a couple gigabytes per month if you have a contract. At least that's the case for where I'm from for most service providers. Not all, but most. And I'm mentioning this because by enabling your hotspot, you are going to be using your mobile network, typically. Not always, but usually this means that you're going to be using it. Outside of home, you would have a Wi-Fi, as you could technically have hotspot that runs through Wi-Fi, that takes Wi-Fi and then broadcasts as a hotspot. Then you don't really need the hotspot. So typically you're going to be using your mobile network for this, and if you have a limit on your mobile network, obviously using hotspot, it will be decreasing it as it is using that mobile network. So what you could potentially do is in the settings, if we go to, I believe it's not here, it's going to be, let's see, mobile network. Yeah, I think it's mobile network. And then, let's see, mobile data. Nope. Okay, so we have data usage right here. It tells us how much data we have already used. Let's see, more data settings. There we go. So in more data settings, we can set up limits. So we have monthly data limit. And we can select in megabytes, gigabytes. So if you have something like, let's say, 5 gigabytes of data per month, I would select something like 5 or 4.5. So I still have a half a gigabyte once I surpass this. Now this includes hotspot in here, as well as just normal day-to-day mobile data usage from your phone. Then I'll select start date. So this would be the date at which you get rebilled. So let's say I get rebilled and my data plan gets refreshed on the 11th of every month. So I'm just going to put in 11, and then this gets tracked, how much did I have used each month up to the each month, 11th day of each month, at which point it resets back to 0 used, and again you have the full 4.5. And then we also have the usage reminders. You can select percentage right here and so on to kind of make it a little bit easier for you to figure out how much you have already used. So this is a great kind of thing to set up if you have a limited amount of data plan, and specifically if maybe your provider will automatically rebill you additional kind of amount if you surpass the given limit of, let's say, that 5 gigabytes. So this would definitely be something that you want to set up. If you have an unlimited service like I do, which is only limited by the speed of it, then don't bother with this. But if you do have any kind of limit, I would potentially recommend setting this up. So anyway, with that being said, I hope you found this very helpful. And if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.